Hey, what's going on? Good morning, friends. How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to another update. I haven't even turned this thing on for a while. I don't know what happened. I don't even know. We hung out in the PM session and I went and picked up a big weightlifting unit, and that was pretty sweet. So that's what I'm going to be doing in my garage. Wow. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Now, from the update last night, I wasn't really sure if it was going to want to reach into here. And it was this fair value gap with this specific wick right here. And, when you kind of like, whatever, this one here. And, it actually wanted this inefficiency. So that's the one it wanted. But I was looking at this guy here. And we'll grade that sucker. And this fair value gap. Now, actually, we had the fair value gap graded. And this was shaded. So that's what I was looking at for a first spot for a bottom. And wow, beautiful. We did have the order block on, but I wasn't really convinced, just because it's the beginning of the month and a 3-month cycle. It's going to need to dip a bit. And I wasn't sure if it was going to be here or down here in this gray pool right in here, which is still on the table. Okay. We've just pierced the all-time highs and with that candle and opened up and started trading up a bit. So everything on side, I was mentioning, I don't really think, I'm pretty dang sure it's going to want to jettison up into at least this buy side liquidity pool. It could have left this alone. It just kept going. So that was wild. Let's go into the daily chart here. Wow, look at that beauty. Wow, this is everything I go for right here. This is my profiles of profiles right here. And the fact that I wanted to see more of these the last few weeks, to be honest with you, and we weren't getting them. And it was like, okay, I guess we're just going to lazily walk our way up here without making these beauties, because we were making a lot of runs in London and Asia and after hours and all sorts of unfavorable times. And so that's it. My goodness, that is gorgeous. That's the daily candle. The low being the fair value gap, and then running into and just poking that all-time high right there. Very good delivery. Beautiful. So why did I sleep in? Because I seen London do this big giant run. I didn't want to see that in London. I wanted to see it chop out until about 9:30 and then drop. So that didn't happen. So for the most part, I sat out today when I had seen that materialize, and then London lunch making a dynamic run. I'll be real with you. I did not expect any of this today. Not today, although I was anticipating it was going to run into the all-time high here in the next, we're looking to see what's going to happen this week so we can move forward with next week, which is what I need. It's just going up. Great. But yeah, so I just sat it out today. We were above the open, so I'm just going to actually put the daily open, not the candles open, the daily open. Big difference. Okay. Drops down in London. I thought we were just going to peter around all day, maybe do another drop, finish filling the inefficiency, and then, NFP next week just start mooning. But this is what we got. So when I seen all this, I wasn't really interested in waking up really early and taking a trade. I'm 3 hours behind New York, which sucks. If, it doesn't really suck. It's actually kind of nice because I get to see what midnight does without having to stay up till midnight. So there's some pros and cons to being over here. But yeah, when I seen London doing all that weird stuff, I went back to bed. So I woke up and this candlestick was right here. I didn't trust that at all. I'm not really trying to long above the open, but if I take this range here, you're still in the discount market. I was just eyeballing that, but I guess you're not in the discount market, are you? So, I mean, it would have been up to you and your risk. If you would have wanted to put it up, I would have put my stop loss here or maybe even just underneath that little inefficiency if I was looking for something. And you guys got to understand, like, just because like candlesticks are moving is just, I've become so picky now that it's going to probably feel like, I don't know. I don't even know, but I am so dang picky because I want that perfection, but I want it at a time I want to see it. And if it's not there and London's doing stuff, then I just don't have a trade. And some of you guys are going to be like, oh, that's backwards. You need to push your edge. Candlesticks are moving. Haha, you didn't capture this. You know what? I could have. My private students were there when I called out this fair value gap here, institutional order flow entry drill up into a buy side liquidity pool. I think there was a higher time frame premium array mean threshold of the daily bearish order block, which I mentioned you guys should have on your chart and graded so you can use these levels as your support and resistance flips. But point being, that trade there, as a matter of fact, I did go live with these guys and I took a long from here up into the, I didn't even take the all-time high, I just took the order block. So that's this. This here is the wick of that daily candlestick of the all-time high. So my trade was just from there to there, gave me just about $1,000 or something, and that was it. Just once order flows engaged, it's so, and you know where it's going, getting in sync with it's quite simple. But you have troubles here. So if you had troubles here Thursday, okay, we're going to look and compare and contrast. That's the daily candlestick. That's the open of the day. And that's the close of the day. That's a compression. This thing is gross. It didn't do much. Sure, it took the low of the range and then ran out the high, but did it do it in a very favorable fashion? Not at all. But people get so hooked on what has to be that they end up destroying themselves here and then missing out on this beauty. We're going to get typically coming up here for a little while, about 2 or 3 of these a week. And they're going to make you feel like you're the best trader ever. Okay? And then you're going to run into days like this and you're going to go, what the heck just happened? Okay, so the difference between the two is that. But this accumulation range set up the AMD for the following day on a news driver, Wednesday, wink, wink. Right? So this is kind of what we're after. We're not chasing price. We're anticipating it and getting in line with the story that's going on because it reads like a story. So don't be stressing. And I was mentioning, like, I pray that you guys have restored mental capital. Many of you did. You're reporting to me your demo trades. You're just bullying price around. It's perfect. Perfect. So what about tomorrow? Look, you guys, tomorrow's going to be like the uh-oh. So we've got a nice big expansion after our compression candle, which was anticipated. Takes out the previous candle's low and the previous candle's high. Typically when that happens, we're really, really bullish. So I want to see a fair value gap in between these 3 candles here. Okay, so this is where I want to see a bottom tomorrow. Right, oh, up. There. Okay, the first place can be here. It can be inside here. We should have that graded because if the order flow is really, if it's running for something specific, which is those targets I gave you last night, make sure you still have them. It's not really going to want to break that. So that could be our fair value gap. So what I'm projecting is something like this. So like, I don't want the this today, like this trading day's candle here to come down and overlap with this wick. Okay, why wouldn't I want that? Because that'll create the setup for moonshots. Okay, so I'm just going to anticipate that my fair value gap's going to be, let's see. I like doing this where I project where the fair value gap, where that bottom's going to be. And that's 20% too. Like, I'll half it. I'll half it in between this candle's body and the 20% retracement. It could come and overlap. I'm just guessing. Like it could come and overlap with that wick there. I don't want it to, but it still can. Okay, so that's the first spot. And then obviously that 30% retracement is the wick. So we'll just leave that level off. And let's see what happens. Tomorrow's like one of those, like typically on an NFP Thursday, I don't trade that day. I just take it off unless my open, low, high, close profile, the one today, is present in New York AM session. So if that's offered, then I'm going to trade it, likely. However, if it's not perfect, I'm not even going to touch it unless it's obvious to me in another fashion, which I will keep you, good morning friends, updated on. And yeah, I hope you guys had a nice, safe trading day. Make sure you send me your order flow charts. Don't be skimping. That's part of you hanging out with me. It's the repetition of things. It's the history, and it's stuff for me to go over and refine what you're doing. God bless you all. Thank you all for joining, and we will see you tomorrow.